Good morning everyone. Today I will take the class of Science of class 8. Okay. So we will continue that chapter, that is crop production. All of you know that. We will start from the protection from the weeds. Okay. Now you have done the other parts, other steps. Now the next step is protection from the weeds. How could you remove the weeds? How could you protect the crops from the weeds? That is the next step. Protection from weeds. So what is weed? You have seen that there is so many small plants also growing with the crop plant. Okay, that is not necessary, or they are undesirable plants. That is called weeds. Okay, so what is weeds? The undesirable plants. The undesirable plants grow along with the crop plant is called weed. Okay, so this is the weed. What is weed? The undesirable plants grow along with the crop plants, that is called weeds. But if there is so many plants are there, they will obviously overcrowding that area. There will be no sufficient water, there will be no sufficient space for the proper development of the crop. So what do you want, or what is your approximate yielding from this crop field? You cannot get the good result due to these undesirable plants. They harm or affect the growth of the crop. So this is obviously harmful for the crop. You need to remove them. Okay, this process is called weeding. So what is weeding? The removal of weeds. Okay, the removal of weeds is called weeding. They are not so many important, and they obviously affect the growth of the crop, and they are poisonous also sometimes. Okay, that mix with the crop, that will be harmful for us. Okay, so that's why we need to remove the weeds. So why it is necessary to remove? Why the weeding is necessary, or why the necessary to removing the weed? Okay, why weeding is necessary? First one, obviously they occupy the space, they take the valuable nutrients, water, light from this type of crops. Okay, so first one, weeds compete with crop for water, nutrients, light and space that affects the growth of crop. Okay, and second one, during harvesting weeds mix with crop and it will be harmful for animals. Okay, so for these two reasons, weeding or removal of weed is necessary. First one, weed compete with crop for water, nutrients, light and space that affects the growth of crop. Obviously, if there is only crop are present, there is sufficient area. But when there is so many plants are there, and the weeds are obviously the herbicides. They are big plant compared to the crop plant, not so many tall plant, but they are big in size than compared to the crop plant. So they need water, nutrients more than the crop plant. So they take the valuable nutrients, water, and it is overcrowding. All the plants are there is not sufficient space. So proper development of the crop will not be occurred. So that's why we need to remove the weeds. Okay. And second one, during harvesting, weeds mixes. Harvesting means after maturity or after development of the crop, you cut down to get the grains. Okay, that is called harvesting. So harvesting weeds, when you cut the crops, there is so many small plants, that is not possible to see all these plants separately. So the weeds mixes with the crop plants, and that is also taken by different types of domestic animals that will be harmful for them. Okay, so these two reasons needs weeds compete with crop for water, nutrients, light and space that affects the growth of crop, and during harvesting weed mix with the crop and it will be harmful for the animals. Next, the process of weeding. How could you remove the weeds? The process of weeding. Okay, weeds, the removal of weeds is done by, first one obviously tilling or plowing. Okay, tilling before sowing crop helps in uprooting or killing weeds. Second one, the best time of removing weeds, best time of removing weeds before producing flower and seeds. Third one, physical removal is done by uprooting or cutting by khurpi. And fourth one, seed drill also helps to remove weed. Okay, that is the process of the weeding. The removal of weeds is done by tilling. All of you know that tilling or plowing, that is the dragging or leveling of the soil. When it is done by the plow, the so many weeds are also uprooted by this machine. So this is dried and already killing. Okay, that is the process. Tilling before sowing crop helps in uprooting or killing the weeds. If they are uprooted, there is no water and minerals, so how could they live? They are dried. Next one, the best time of removing weed before producing flower and seeds. Obviously, best time of removing weeds or any small plants. When it is small, it is obviously easy to remove than when it is developed. Okay, when it is start to producing flower and seeds, it obviously start to reproduce. Their seeds are also moved by the water or moved by the air. They can also produce so many weeds. So when it is small, that is sapling, then it is very easy to remove. Okay, next one, physical removal. You can see that when we are doing the gardening, obviously we are also uprooted by our hand also. Okay, some small plants we are uprooting by the hand. So physical removal is done by uprooting or cutting by khurpi. Khurpi is a small instrument by which you can remove the small plants. Next one, seed drill. Obviously sowing the seed is done by seed drill. You have already learned about that method. This seed drill, when you sow the seeds, that time also you can removing some weeds. Okay, so tilling before sowing crop helps in uprooting or killing weeds. The best time of removing weeds before producing flower and seeds. Physical removal done by the uprooting or cutting by khurpi, and seed drill also helps to remove the weeds. And next, another one, the last one, chemical treatment. Okay, some chemicals are also used to remove weed, that is called weedicide. What is weedicides? Number 5, weedicides. Chemical treatment is used to control weeds. That is called weedicide. These chemicals are called weeds. Like example 2,4-D. Okay, so many chemicals are there. They can use. You have seen that farmers use so many chemicals that is sprayed by a machine. That is weedicides. Okay, so the chemical that is used to remove the weeds, that is called weedicides. So this is the process, protection from the weeds. First, what is weed, then weeding, then the process of weeding, and what is weedicides. Okay, weedicides, you can obviously, weedicide cannot harm the crop, only harm the weeds. You can say that, ma'am, why it is not occurred? Both plants are in the same place, but the chemical that is sprayed in a dilute form. There is some physical structure in difference between the weeds and in the crop plant. There is not so many absorption power are present in the crop plant. Okay, the dilute form, that is that is certain amount, 10% to 100%. So this type of certain mix occurs, the certain amount mixing is occurs, that only absorbed by the weeds, not by the crop. So for the reason, crop cannot absorb this chemical, so they are not harmed by this chemical, but the weeds can take this dilute form, so they will be died. Okay, that is the process. Weedicide, chemical treatment is used to control the weeds, is called 2,4-D. That is weeding. The next step, harvesting. And obviously farmers should take precaution, because this is chemical that can harm the health of the farmers. Okay, when they use the weedicides, they should take the precaution and proper care, because that is the chemical. Next, harvesting. Harvesting, the process of cutting the crop after its maturity is called harvesting. It takes 3 to 4 months to develop crop and this is done by a machine is called harvester. Okay, so harvesting, it is also one of the process by which after maturity or development of the crop, the farmers cut the crop to obtain the grain, and it take the crop, any crop take 3 to 4 months maximum to develop, and it takes, and this harvesting or cutting done by a machine, that is called harvester. Okay, and after harvesting you need to obtain the grain from its stalk or chaff where the grains is present. This is another process is also, that is threshing or winnowing. Okay, to obtain grain, by the process to obtain grain, you have already learned about that in class 7, the process to obtain grain. First one, threshing. The process by which grains are separated from its chaff. It is done by combine. Thresher plus harvester. Thresher plus harvester. Next one, winnowing. Winnowing, that is grains are separated from husk by blowing air. Okay, so there is two process. After harvesting you can obtain grain. First one, threshing. All of you know that the grains are separated from its chaff or stalk by the help of a machine, that is called combine, that is called threshing. It's called combine because it is a combination of thresher and harvester. Threshing also done by this machine and harvesting also done by this machine. Okay, for the reason that is called combine. And next one, winnowing. All of you know that there is obviously present a light particle and a solid particle or heavy weighted particle. The light particle can be removed by the blowing the force of the air. Okay, that is. Next, storage. Now you need to store your food for the long time. That is called storage. Storage process helps to keep the crop safe for long time. Okay, so how could you save the crop long time? Which affected the crops to destroy the effective particles, which effective materials, that is moisture, microorganism, insects and rats. Okay, so the process to help, you want to, obviously there is so many crops you can be produced by the farmers. It is not possible to finish them in one day. You need to save, keep them, store them for a long time. When the availability of the food is not present, you can use them for your future. Okay, that is storage. And storage effective particles are which helps to destroy, or which type of environmental things that affect the grains to destroy. That is moisture. Obviously, if moisture is present, fungus, bacteria obviously comes. Next one, rats, any type of rodents, this type of animals destroy the crops, microorganisms. So if you prevent the crop from this type of effective particles, you can store them for the long time. So how could you store? The process of storing. The process of storing. First one, obviously, crop should be dried under sunlight. Crops should be dried under sunlight to reduce moisture and prevent them from attack of bacteria and fungi. Second one, store them on a large scale in silos or granaries. Next one, neem leaves are used to storage to prevent from bacteria, fungi, large scale in silos or granaries, prevent from rat and pest. Next one, chemical treatment. Chemical also used to prevent from microorganisms. Okay, so first one, crops would be dried. So first the new crops, that is the soft crops, that is before drying, they contain moisture. They are soft, they are green in color. So you should dry them under the sunlight. When it dried, it's just lost its moisture. So you can keep them safe for a long time and obviously prevent them from the attack of bacteria or any type of microorganisms. Second one, store them. When it is done in some small cases, the farmers, the sun-dried crops, they can keep them in a bag, jute bag, any type of can. Okay, but when the large scale of crop, you can protect them or keep them in silos. Silos is just pillar like structure, okay, in which you can store the crops for the long time. Especially that is silos you can see in that particular parts of the India or any type of country where especially in winter season where unavailability of the food is present, okay, then they can take this type of food. And granaries, you know that the large place where the crop is stored. Next one, neem leaves. You know that neems have the one property that is antibacterial, so you can prevent them from any type of bacterial infection. And next one, chemical. Different types of chemicals are used to store them, okay. This is the storage. And the last one. So this is we discuss about the plant food, the crop, okay. So this is the total chapter and total the crop production and management. That is the only plant food. How could you obtain the food from the plant? And next is animal husbandry, okay. We also take some animal products, the milk, the egg, obviously animal husbandry, okay. So you can obtain the food from animals also. So what is animal husbandry? The process of rearing animals in home or in farm, provided with food, shelter and provided with food, shelter and obviously protection, you can say that. And obtain food from them and obtain food from them is called animal husbandry. Okay, so animal husbandry actually a place that is you can rear the animals in your home also, or you can rear them in a large scale in a farm also, okay, with the proper food, shelter that is necessary for their living to obtain some food from them. That is called animal husbandry, okay. So we have completed the total chapter, the crop, the types of the crop production, what is the step for the crop production and management, animal husbandry, all this included in this chapter. Carefully read that. I have completed the chapter. Next day we will discuss about the exercise of this chapter, okay. Thank you. Stay safe.